I stated this in a previous video that we've traveled a great distance since 2016, since the campaign of 2015, where Donald Trump railed against crooked Hillary. Lock her up, they chanted. Lock her up. Over and over, they chanted. We've gone from that, lock her up in 2016, to no president should ever be convicted of a crime. No politician should ever be held accountable because it's lawfare. We've also gone in 2024 for arguments on behalf of the Donald Trump team, his lawyers, literally in reality that we exist in, arguing before the Supreme Court that a sitting president of the United States has absolute immunity from crimes committed while in office. And at the same time, Donald Trump promising that he will prosecute Joe Biden and jail him for his crimes that he committed while in office. So either a president doesn't have absolute immunity, or they do, or absolute immunity only exists for Donald Trump. There's a varied reaction yesterday to Donald Trump's 34 felony convictions. Guilty verdict. A jury of his peers found him guilty. Unanimously found him guilty. And I got some reactions from MAGA world, starting with Donald Trump, by the way. King of hyperbole, prince of jackassery. This is an email I got where he states that yesterday was the darkest day, the darkest day in the history of America. Breaking Trump alert. They said I'm guilty. Darkest day in American history. For a nation that has slavery under our belt, the genocide and eradication of indigenous peoples, I tweeted about this yesterday, Jim Crow and convict leasing and redlining and disenfranchisement on a large scale, segregating people by the tint of their skin. This, for Donald Trump, is the darkest day in American history. The day he finally has been held accountable, that the justice system, the slow-moving pace of our Department of Justice, which still hasn't secured a conviction in the cases, it's up to a local municipal district attorney in Manhattan to actually bring consequence and accountability to Donald Trump. And this, for Donald Trump, is the darkest day in American history. It's not 9/11. It's not Pearl Harbor. It's not Vietnam. It's not World War II. No, no, no. This, darkest day in American history. And the dum-dums in MAGA world, they're here for it. Hook, line, and sinker. I was going to go to Marco Rubio, but let's go to Marjorie Taylor Greene first, who, of course, posted on Twitter the symbol that has been adopted by insurrectionists, the upside-down flag, flown by Donald Trump, one of Donald Trump's favorite Supreme Court justices, Samuel Alito. And then she also posted this, which is a real banger. Donald Trump, guilty of patriotism. Yeah, did you hear? Donald Trump got convicted. 34 charges, conviction. Was it, did they find him guilty of patriotism? Oh, Margie. So since the Veep stakes is hot and heavy right now, you had many people who are vying to be chosen as the dear leader's choice to be vice president of the United States. Marco Rubio being one of them. Tim Scott was out there. It wasn't anything remarkable for me to post. He did get into kind of a thing with Abby Phillip, but here's Marco Rubio saying that this is an outrageous travesty, the likes of which he's never seen. Watch this.
This is the most outrageous travesty I've ever seen. And the problem here is Democrats have crossed this line. They have crossed the line in which now the court system is a political weapon. And it's going to be very hard for it not to come back the other way. I don't want that. I heard you saying that earlier in the show. But I think we need to understand that they've crossed the line now and let a genie out of a bottle. It's going to be hard to put back in place.
Everything's the most with these people. This is the most outrageous travesty. It reminds me, it seems that Marco Rubio's trying to do a Bob Odenkirk impression from the 2003 or 2004 era when he was a spokesperson for Miller Lite. Remember those commercials where he was talking about the Travisham mockery? It's a travesty. It's a sham. It's a mockery. It's a Travisham mockery. You remember that? Oh, very good. God, well, this is the genie out of the bottle. They've done it. Now we have to do it. That's ultimately what this is. This is just a threat. J.D. Vance, another one who is just wet with anticipation for Donald Trump to choose him as a VP. He also took a little different tack. He didn't talk about how outrageous or a Travisham mockery that it was. He just outright said, we need to go after, harass, and go after Judge Merchan, who presided over the case, and Judge Merchan's family. Watch this.
We have to be willing to fight back. We need to be subpoenaing Judge Merchan and his daughter. We need to understand what are the connections between big Democratic money and this sham prosecution. Did George Soros ever talk to Alvin Bragg about using his power to go after Donald Trump? We need to get to the bottom of it, and when we find wrongdoing, we need to be willing to actually punish it. That is the only language that I think these people are going to understand.
That is where we are in the Republican Party today, where leaders in the party who are just grifters and charlatans. I mean, if you follow J.D. Vance at all, certainly if you're in Ohio, you understand what kind of a POS this guy is, that he was one of Trump's staunchest critics. And now, when he's getting ready to possibly be chosen, when it affects the possibility of him being elected to the Senate in what has become a very radical Republican state of Ohio, he's here for it. He has no principles. He has no shame. He has no dignity. He is in the MAGA cult. Another member of the MAGA cult, of course, someone without dignity or shame, any reliance to logic or reason, is Ted Cruz, who took a little different tack. Listen to him whine about how heartbroken he is that the man who accused his father of assassinating a sitting United States president on November 23rd, 1963, JFK, also called his wife ugly. He's heartbroken about this verdict. Watch Ted Cruz.
Well, listen, Sean, I think you're exactly right. What we saw today was an absolute travesty of justice. This was not law. This was not criminal justice. This was politics. This was a political smear job. This was an attack job. This is what you see in banana republics. And it is, I am both furious and heartbroken at the same time. I'm furious at what we saw, but I'm also heartbroken for the rule of law. I'm heartbroken for our justice system.
And it wouldn't be a video about the MAGA cult without Judge Jeanine Pirro switching from her attack on the lawfare and now shifting gears to talk about warfare, which is a common refrain on Twitter yesterday and across social media. If you're on Facebook, I'm sure you saw some unhinged things. Here she is kind of shifting gears to elevate, enhance, radicalize the rhetoric.
Shannon, we've been calling it lawfare. I think lawfare is far too soft. It's far too benign. This is warfare. This is the taking down of someone, not just politically, but legally, and looking to take away their civil liberties. And, you know, as a prosecutor and a judge, my job was to make sure that the guilty were convicted and to make sure that their people's civil liberties weren't taken away.
And here, for your viewing pleasure, your laughter, your edification, I guess, is Alina Habba appealing to liberals and Democrats and Rachel Maddow or whatever, appealing to, it's time to come together. After all of the venom and the vitriol and the hate and the adherence to the cult, the lies, the grift, the charlatan nature of Alina Habba and everybody else in the MAGA movement. Now it's time to come together.
is intentional. This is not America. And I'm speaking to MSNBC viewers and CNN viewers, the Rachel Maddows, the Caitlin Collins. It is time to come together.
I mean, really, people always say you couldn't write this, you couldn't make this up. You could, but as John Mulaney said, no one would want to watch it. This is ridiculous, and we're seeing them flailing and freaking out in real time at the first of Donald Trump's convictions. I think it's pretty accurate to say it's not an exaggeration to say that it's very likely we're going to see others in these disparate cases. Maybe not the documents case because of the interference at the hands of Eileen Cannon. But the others are pretty rock solid and being not interfered with from an obstruction standpoint. So I'd love to know what you think. What were some other reactions that you saw that I missed or didn't include that you think should have been here? You can leave a comment below and tell me. Talk about it with yourselves in the comments. You could also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. As always, you can email me, regular old-fashioned email at daily@dollemore.com. I would also ask you to consider supporting this work, helping me do what I do here on this channel, helping me make these videos. Click the join button. For $2 a month, you can do just that, become a channel member. You can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, help support the work there. And follow me on social media if that's your thing. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you. And I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.